Your mind won't shut up. Your energy is not yours. Hi, and welcome to 7 tools how to reset your ADHD overwhelm without forcing stillness. Aloha, beautiful soul. My name is May. I'm your Neurospicy Cyber Witch here to guide you through anything that has to do with your ADHD, your sensitivity, and of course, we're adding a little bit magic touch. Yeah, just to have a little intro about myself first so that you know who's going to be guiding you here. I was born and raised in several countries as my dad was part of something similar to the Peace Corps just for, in Germany. And in that, he met my mom in Ecuador, and she's a Chinese Ecuadorian. Yeah, that's how I became a mixie by DNA and by biography. And, on top of that, I became a bridge builder, not just because of my multicultural background, but also because of my spiritual background, everything that I learned there, my love for technology that has brought me to also become an AI coach in these days today. And of course, I use all of this knowledge to support you on your magical journey. For myself, on my spiritual path, I have a shamanic background. I learned shamanism. That was like my base that I learned first. But something that my teacher told me, and something that I tell everybody, we are spiritual beings and there is no box for us to fit in. So I might be your first one, but I won't be your last one. You're invited to actually learn more about different kinds of styles. And like that, my teacher taught me. So he wasn't my first. There were a couple of other teachers that I had along the way. One of the first things that I learned about myself was that I'm an empath, which is maybe you haven't heard that one, but it's a little bit more than a highly sensitive person, meaning that it's not just about feeling, the field, the energy of a room. It's actually, you dive deeper, you actually live the energy, you live the anger, the fear of the people surrounding you. That's sort of like I always say it's like an upgrade to the highly sensitive. That doesn't make it easier to handle. So that was sort of like the first thing that I learned, that one of my gifts was that. So I learned about anything that had to do with energies, because for me, I felt that I couldn't believe that the universe would create people that were empaths, because I knew I wasn't the only one, and that would be like me, just to suffer feeling everybody's feelings, right? There had to be a solution. And unfortunately, I had to, it took me a while to find the solutions for this, but that's why I'm here to teach you how to do that faster. I learned a lot about, I have my first Reiki degree. I have several it's called healing magnetism. I learned shiatsu, honoring my Asian ancestors. And then that was like the beginning. And then I remember at one point the Hawaiians came into my life. For me, that felt like home. It felt like they had the language for me to understand the universal energies of, laws of energies that we have on this plane. And I really deepened it with learning how to do lomi lomi massage, going into the Huna philosophy. I did, a deep dive in Hawaii with a teacher there. And yeah, and that's where I've been. Again, that wasn't my last, the last thing that I've learned. I'm still, open to learn other things. Like, I've had friends teach me other things. I've read books to, see how to get in there. And of course, I'm always guided by my spirit guides that support me. And, with all the ADHD talk that has come up in the past couple of years, I started looking into that as well. Like, it feels very familiar for me. Like, every time someone talks about ADHD, it's like, oh, that's me. Like, that's how I used to be. And then I realized that everything that I learned to help me cope with my empathy, it actually helped me cope with my ADHD traits as well. And now we're here, me being here, your guide to support you on your journey to, to learn mechanisms, tools, resources that will help you learn to belong to yourself, not feel wrong, to actually know that you're perfect the way you are and stand in your own power, because I know we do all have that power. In my opinion, it shouldn't be called an illness. I believe that we are able to live with the, for me, it has to do with a sort of person. It doesn't have to do with us being sick. I don't feel it as a sickness. I don't believe we are sick. I believe we just are different, and it's about learning how to manage and how to cope. I'm not a big fan of, the word coping mechanism, but it is a form that helps us, understand it for now. And that's why I brought for you today the 7 tools that have helped me to deal with overwhelm. Because if I look at all the pain points that we do have as ADHDers, like the overwhelm is so big. And especially if you're sensitive ADHDer, it doesn't matter if you're actually an empath or just highly sensitive, we have that sensitivity. Any ADHDer has that sensitivity. Either it's, touch, you might have that. I have that sometimes with certain textures that I feel, certain tastes, certain smells, that can make you go crazy. And, things like that. We all have them. And those are overwhelmed. You might be suffering of, and I'm calling it suffering, not because it's an illness, but because it makes us suffer so much when our brain goes on overdrive and is overthinking everything double, triple. Weeks later, we're still thinking about that conversation we had with that one colleague, and it's not stopping. And so that makes us feel so wrong sometimes, and we exhaust ourselves with that, and we do get exhausted. Again, the sensitive part, we might be hanging out with people that we feel like that they overwhelm us. That is a little bit harder, when we have to go to meetings at work, or when we have friends that we like, but they might have, family members attached to them that are a little bit, that we still, because we love that person, or we have them in our lives as friends, we still want to share that special moments with them. But then people come in that help make us feel as if we're being drained by an energy vampire. I'm not a big fan of the word energy vampire. I do know that we can feel very drained by certain people, and it might feel like that. But yeah, so those are the things that can come up and that make us feel so overwhelmed. And that's why I decided to do these tools for you, to bring you this today. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Before we dive into this, I just want you to know, because you probably got this because you just came into my community, into my cyber coven, how I want to call my space for you, for us witchy and sensitive ADHD. So very welcome here. You all have a complimentary 15-minute energy session with me. So please, if you like, go and get your 15-minute energy session. It's just for you to feel energy, to feel yourself, to see where you're standing. Maybe we'll even have the time to even get something already rolling, get something started, get something activated for you in those 50 minutes. So I highly invite you to do that. Or if it's just to, get to know me, say hello, let us do that. If you have something challenging right now, I'd love to support you there. So you have that 15-minute complimentary session. And if you don't want to go one-on-one, don't worry. Just go ahead and be here in my cyber coven, in this space. I will be filling it up with a lot of things for you. We will be doing a lot more. I'm just building it. So you're going to be the part of a founders group that's already here with me in the coven. And we will be doing a couple of things. And of course, I will be reaching out so that we can, maybe do together some moon rituals or things that support you on an ADHD level. All right, let's dive in with the 7 parts. And I'm going to get started with my all-time favorite that I use, that I like, that I love, that I was given this gift, and you probably know it. So if you do, this is a reminder to start using it. And I will share with you a special tweak that I do that helped me actually do it more often. Because again, you probably heard in the original version, but sometimes it just feels like, and here we go. And I'm just gonna start it. I'm talking about the body scan. Maybe you've heard about it, the body scan. It's actually very, very simple. Right now, maybe even listening to me right now, you just, feel into it, you feel into your body, and you start just checking in, like for example, in your head, how are you feeling? No, don't judge anything. You just listen. We listen and we don't judge. Let's do that with our body. So we just say, hello head, how are you? Just put the focus on your head. And then hello neck, hello face, hello eyes, hello ears, hello, we did the neck already, hello shoulders, hello arms, hello elbow, hello hands, hello wrists, hello fingers, hello chest, and so on, right? This is very easy. It's just, hello. You can take a moment if you wanted to, like, oh, how's my stomach? How's my hip doing right now? And you might listen to your hip saying, oh, I'm hurting a little bit. Then you're just going to acknowledge, okay, it's there, got it. Hello legs, how are you? Hello knees, hello feet, How are you feeling? Oh, feels a little bit painful to stand on that leg. Let's move to the other leg, right? You scan through your whole body like this. That's all you got to do. And you can do this, standing in line at the grocery store. You can do this while you're, having a walk with a friend. You can do this, wherever you like, wherever you have the mind free. Don't do it while driving, please. Right? But this is like a mini meditation, and it is that meditation. That's one of the things that I realized with this practice is that meditation is actually being in the moment. And if I'm able to bring myself back into the moment by doing this practice, because probably while you were doing this practice with me right now, you didn't think of anything else. You were just there, like, oh, hi, head. Hello, hands, right? And for those of you that I just said, you can actually take this a little bit further. And this is the point where, because it's going to be faster, the more you practice this, you're going to get faster in it. If it annoys you too much, because again, that's one thing that sometimes it feels like too annoying. It's about being in the moment that I just said. So this is one practice that you can actually use in, when you're walking up the stairs. We do have stairs at different kinds of places. So what about walking consciously up those stairs or down those stairs? Meaning in the moment of actually walking, you feel how your heel, touches the ground, and then your foot moves like this, and then your toes touch, and that's why I like the stairs, and then you push yourself up to the next flight of stairs, right? And this movement, and you feel what kind of muscles are being used. Doesn't that make it feel good? And that gives you just a moment. Again, this is just a moment. It doesn't have to be long. Just a moment of doing that. And I like the stairs because it's about pushing and feeling the muscles, but you can do that when you're going out on a run, when you're walking, right? When you're swimming, you can do the same thing. Swimming is even better because it gives you that feeling of having the water surrounding you and feeling that as well. And there's another one, washing your hands. We all have to wash our hands several times a day, right? Every time we go to the toilet, we have to wash our hands. So whenever you do wash your hands, you have to do it anyway, right? So why not, instead of, even if you're rushing it, but take a moment to really feel how the water is running through your fingers, how the soap feels when when you wash it in, when you do this. How does that feel? How does that make you feel, right? So you do that. And this is, again, one step further. Do it in the shower. Feel how the water dripples down, how you're being washed, how the water washes away everything, right? That's a little bonus there, because it's like washing away all your thoughts. It's washing away all everything that's overwhelming you, and you just feel how it feels on your skin. Again, these are things that they just need to be moments. The more you practice it, the more you're going to notice that you're going to have like, more and more moments like these. And every time you do it, it brings you back into the moment. It brings you out of your thoughts, out of whatever energy things you were. It releases the overwhelm. I love this so much. A second one that I want to add to this, because it's all about your body, is breathing, right? So I like, again, because I like the Hawaiian philosophies, and I learned the Pico Pico breath from them. And it's basically imagining how you're inhaling through your crown chakra and exhaling through your belly button. It's just to connect back to yourself, right? That's it. You just take a breather like that. Or if you know different kinds of breathing techniques that you like to do, just do them whenever you think you feel overwhelmed. Give yourself this, like, take a moment to take at least 3 breaths. We need to breathe anyway, so why not do them intentionally, right? So you do them intentionally, right? And then there's this kind of breathing where you breathe in for 3 and then hold for 3 and then release for 6. If you want to, I know there's different kinds that do, breathe in for 3, hold for 3, exhale for 6, and hold for 3, and then, and then keep on going like this. Whichever pattern that you want to do breathing that helps you, that supports you, please feel free to do that. If you can do it longer, like a couple of minutes, do it. But sometimes just taking 3 very intense breaths like that with intention, then you're going to have the same effect, that it calms your nervous system. All right. Second tool that I have for you today, that is also one that I intuitively did as a youngster, and probably you too. I'm talking about the time when we were like 13, 14, 15, that time of when we were going through changes. And it's something that still works today. And that is just brain dumping, whatever you have in your head, dump it on a piece of paper. That's what we used to do way back when. It was a piece of paper. Nowadays we can use technology. You can use your digital recorder on your phone, the voice recorder on your phone. You can actually even make a video if you want to for yourself. Or if you even want to take it one step further, dump it into ChatGPT and say, please just, listen to me, listen to what I'm saying, and organize it for me in a readable way. And then you just dump it into ChatGPT, for example, and then it goes in there, and then it rearranges it in a way that you might even have a summary of what you've written. But that's if you want to use technology and if you do want to organize your head, right? But sometimes we just want to release, so that can be just a voice note that you can delete afterwards. It can be a piece of paper that you throw away or burn afterwards. So these are things that you can use to just dump whatever's there, just get it out of your system, just release it out. And sometimes it's just about that. It's just about writing it out or speaking it out of your system. Sort of like calling your bestie and like, hey, I need to dump this somewhere. And of course your bestie's going to listen, right? But sometimes we don't want to dump it on people. We just want to dump it somewhere that we can actually, this could be like a little ritual that you can do to just get rid of things, right? Tool number 3 is the sweep it off. Sweep it off. I'm going to call it the sweep it off and then shake it off. So basically imagine how you're sweeping it off. This is something that you can do wherever you are. Like we used to do energetic cleansing with my shamanic teacher and with the spiritist that I was working with at the beginning of my spiritual journey. And we would do and then we would go like this and just take it off your chest, take it off your head, and do this. And I know this looks weird and sounds too simple to be true, but if you do it intentionally, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel how you're taking things off, right? A little bit similar to the shower. Remember how we did the shower? I talked about the shower earlier. It's that. It washes it all off. And then of course the Taylor Swift one, shake it off, shake it off. That's one that I actually learned from Qigong, from doing Qigong for a couple of years, is that you actually really shake it off. It's like you find a stance where you can stand good. And then of course this is something that you might not want to do in public. So you might want to find a bathroom or, a still place for yourself, or you just, do that. And then just shake it off, shake it out of your system, bring it out, and just do this as long as necessary, as long as you want, because it's helpful. Tool number 4, and this is something that's actually, it was created, at least in my world, I created it out of the body scan, because same as, just checking your body, there's also a form of checking your energy in that moment. If you're overwhelmed with anger, with fear, with sadness, with whatever negative energy you have there, and it's like, and for us as sensitives, again, we have that tendency to go like, oh, that's that person, or it's from here, or that person is making me so angry, why are they, and we always, with our antennas, we're so much all over the place that of course, how are we gonna not feel overwhelmed if we're all over the place, right? So we bring it back by going inside. So asking ourselves, putting the flashlight towards ourselves and asking like, hold on, what am I feeling right now? Like let me find a name for this. Let me describe this feeling. Like, where in my body is it? Can I give it, where is it? Like, how big is it? Does it have a space? Does it have color? Maybe even taste, or, a consistency that I might be able to give it, to make it more feasible for myself, like, where did it come? And maybe then go like, okay, where does it come from? Like in meaning, like, what is it that angered me? Like, why did this anger me? Anger is so easy. Or sadness, like, why did this? Okay, so it was because that person said that. So why does that specific thing anger me so much or make me so sad? Like, what about this situation made me sad? And have I had this in other situations, right? So you reflect with yourself, and that also, makes that happen, right? And I know it's one that we are afraid of feeling our feelings, but trust me, a lot of the times, by just making this practice, 50% of the feelings pass by. It's like they're passing by our system. It's like they're just going like, okay, hi, I wanted to be angry right now for a second, for a minute, and that's it, got it, and they're gone. But because we're so afraid of feeling the feelings, we tend to just push them away, like, oh no, I can't feel anger right now. Especially as, come on, we do have a high moral compass, and we're gonna go like, oh my God, no, I'm not allowed to feel, to have bad feelings and to have bad thoughts. And of course, they're not good, but mainly they're not good for you. The problem is if I push them away, you see this, I'm putting it behind me, and my backpack that I'm carrying gets bigger and bigger. But the more I allow my feelings to happen, they're going to be able to float by and just, go. And they're going to be floating away. Right. And that's the thing. It's 50%. And this is something for that I find so amazing. 50% of the negative feelings, they're just passerbyers. They're just going to pass by. But if I don't want to feel them, I'm going to be adding them to my backpack, right? So that's something that to keep in mind, that we can just make them pass away. Of course, 50% are still there that have, that need healing, that need transformation, but that's something for a different video. Tool number 5, grounding. Every ADHDer and every empath and every highly sensitive needs regular grounding things. And I'm saying things. It can be as simple as just walk barefoot somewhere, or with socks. It's allowed with socks if you have to. It's about finding grounding things. And it's just as simple as that. Take off your shoes. Like right now here, you might have heard it a little bit cracking here. When I'm standing, it's because I have wooden floor. Wooden floor does that. But if you don't have wooden floor, please just walk outside for a moment. Find a little space where you can walk barefoot or in your socks, a piece of grass somewhere. Of course, if you can, go and hug a tree. That's like the best thing that you can do. But if not, one of the practices that I learned from my shamanic time is to ground myself by imagining that I'm a tree. So that's really standing, in a good stance, shoulder width apart, your feet, and then just imagining how your feet turn into roots down into the earth, and how your core becomes the tree trunk, and you feel that no matter what wind comes by, you can't be you might move a little bit, but it won't change anything, because you're grounded with your roots. And if you want to bring up your arms and bring in, universal energy, let it flow through your body down to the roots, and then imagine how the roots bring in energy and bring it up through your arms back to the universe, and how you become this channel where universal energy and Mother Earth interchange. And just by doing so, you're grounding yourself. Just by doing that. Just to make a circle back to the pico pico breath that I gave you earlier, that's also one thing. If you need a quicker one. I mean, I feel like the tree trunk that we just did was pretty quick, and I already feel my feet warm. I feel pretty much, standing strong. But if you need something that is maybe a little bit less, showy like this, because you're in the middle of the supermarket or something, remember the pico pico breath that we did earlier, inhaling through your crown chakra. Instead of exhaling through your navel, you exhale through your feet. So you inhale through your crown chakra, and you imagine how you're exhaling through your feet, and just that, like this, you're grounded. I would still suggest do 3 breaths at least, like to do a minimum of that. But sometimes even just 1 breath will help you bring you back, get you out of the overwhelm that you're feeling. All right. Tool number 6. This is bringing us back to the shake it off, like I said earlier. That was a little hint already. And that is, find a music. Just take a music that you like, bring it up and dance it off. Or if you can't dance it off, at least listen to it. One of my favorite tools to not get overwhelmed, like to prevent overwhelm, are these noise canceling over-ear headphones. That's my thing. I don't know if you like something like that, or if you already have something like that. Use these. Put on the music that you want. I actually have a playlist that is called Release, where I have music on that helps me release energy, release the overwhelm, sort of like the shaking it off. But instead of shaking it off, it has harder music. Because, fun fact about me, I actually, like, the very first concert I went to, and it's a band I still go to. It's a band that only not many people in Germany know, but it's a German band, and it's a punk band. And that's the kind of music that helps me to just shake it off, shake everything out. Like, oh, it could be hard rock music, rock and roll, whatever feels right. I actually, sometimes I, with my Hispanic background, I like to listen to Latino music. So you see what I'm saying is, you find out which are your music things, themes, genres that you can use to just get rid of things. That's a wonderful and easy fix that you can use wherever you are, right? Because with the headphones you can use them wherever. And my seventh, last but not least, tool for you is microenvironment shifts. It doesn't matter if it's opening a window, using a different chair, sitting in a different spot in your room. Sometimes even that helps. Or just take a little walk. Go for a little, if you can, if you feel overwhelmed, go for a walk. That's actually doing grounding and movement at the same time. If you can do that, if it is necessary, open a window, go to the toilet. Sometimes it's just that, going to the toilet. Even if you don't have to, just go there, wash your face and then come back. Little micro environment changes that will help you do changes, especially for us ADHDers. It's about, having sometimes just a little different change to motivate us for something else. And it's the same with our overwhelm. By making those little changes, we help ourselves to get out of procrastination, right? Those were my 7 tools. I highly recommend go check out the PDF for the bonuses, because there's a couple of reflective questions that you will find to bring the energy back to yourself. And, just to have, coming back to this, all of this together for you, it only works if you do it for yourself. You don't have to have the one, right? There is, especially for us ADHDers, there's not one solution for everything. We don't have that. The thing that we need to learn for ourselves is to allow ourselves to have more than one solution, and to have solutions that we can mix up. Like, today it could be this, tomorrow it could be something else, and that's okay, right? Learn to feel yourself, so that okay, like today I'm feeling like this, the music's gonna help. And then sometimes you're gonna put on the music and it's like, oh no, this is too loud, it's like too much for me right now. And you might want classical music or no music at all, because you're actually overwhelmed by sound. So find something, use a different tool of the ones that I gave you. And by practicing all of these tools that I told you, by practicing them, you're going to get faster in them. They're going to help you easier to get out of it, for starters. And, you might even be able to create your own tools that will help you to get out of overwhelm. The tools that I gave you are meant for you, are made so that you be more, so that you bring the energy back to you, so that you feel good and comfortable with yourself, because you don't feel overwhelmed anymore. And that's when you can start making other kinds of changes. All right. I hope I'll see you in a 15-minute session. And if not, I hope I'll just see you around in my cyber coven. Welcome again here. And I'm looking forward to meeting you. Have a great time and enjoy using these tools. And if you want to, please let me know. And just one final word: give yourself grace. We're humans and we don't have to make the change from one moment to another. So give yourself grace if there are days that it doesn't work. I know that the next day you're going to keep on trying.